Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to be doing something a little differently than what I normally do. And if you're new here, my name's Aaliyah and I am more and more coming out and, identifying myself as a channeler. It's kind of an awkward angle, which feels like kind of an edge for me, but it's important for me to just share and be open, because these are things that are parts of me and I just have so much to share. Most of you are probably familiar with tarot readings or psychic readings, and I do both of those things. But one other modality that I use to read is what I call intuitive body art scans or portraits. And basically, although I'm an illustrator and I've done professional illustration for years, and I grew up, drawing, what you see is not going to be super refined or, according to my standards, like super beautiful or like high art or anything like that. Art is not the point, but it is a channel that I use to channel, basically, to express and to do readings. And I've been feeling pulled to do a collective energy reading of like the collective energy body. And so if you're drawn to this reading, if you feel magnetized to it, there's probably messages in here for you. So stick around. Again, if you feel drawn, and, take what resonates, use your discernment. This doesn't have to necessarily be for you. And also, before I begin, I just want to say, or just put out a prayer that people who are judgmental and hateful and misunderstanding will just be banished from here. People who are committed to staying in a place of misunderstanding and judgment, they have no place here, and I'm just saying that out loud. So I'm gonna begin by taking some different color markers to just have by my side, because I use the different colors to draw out different textures and different things that represent aspects of the energy body. And so, as I was saying, take what resonates. As I draw out what I'm seeing, because this is a collective reading, there are going to be messages in here for multiple different people. There might be some messages come through that are very specific for specific groups of people. So with that, I'm just going to get started and draw what I see, tell you about it. So when I do these, I always start with a basic, like, this is not high art by any means, but I start with a basic figure. There were a couple things that came through before I made the video, so I'm just going to draw them and then I will explain them. What else? Yeah. Sorry, so these markers are kind of running out of ink a little bit. And by the way, if you do resonate with this kind of reading and you want one of your own, I do offer personal intuitive body art scan portrait readings. So this is what I have so far. I'm just going to angle this over here so you can see me, and I'm going to get some more light. So this is an extremely basic version of, just what I was seeing. So for some people watching this, the first impression that I got were these like black kind of waves, and I saw them as like trails of kind of sludge that were slowly dripping and emanating off of and vibrating off of and out of the body, from the lower, I guess it would be the lower right side. So it's almost like this feeling of some sludge or some heaviness is like dripping off of you, falling off of you. Some people could have recently slipped and fallen, or there could have been, I just feel this like over on the hip here, like this weight or this energy that's kind of hugging and wrapping around and like going underneath, and it's, for some people it's like dripping off, and then for other people it's like pulling them or causing like slipperiness. So this is going to vary for whoever's watching this, but the energy that I get with this is that something is leaving your field, something is leaving your body. You could be detoxing. You could feel this like heaviness leaving from you. You might be experiencing physical symptoms of something moving or detoxing or just like being pushed out or even washed out. Like what I think of is when you scrub up like a dirty animal, like a horse or a dog or something. You give them a bath after they've been rolling in the mud, and you do all the suds of the soap, and then when you hose off these sheets of like dirty gray muddy soap, they just kind of melt down. And that's what I see with this. And for some people, you could be having this release and things are moving, there's like a good forward momentum in your life. But for other people, there's something about that energy that's still tied to you inside or still stuck to you, almost like the weight of it coming off of your body is almost causing you to fall. And this is this is metaphorical. It's an energy reading after all. So it doesn't have to, mean literally you have something hanging on you, although I mean that might be the case for some people. But it's almost like this feeling of like something is like pulling you down and trying to like knock you down or trip you. And for some people, you might be receiving like bullying or hatred or attacks or judgment or just some energy that's like pulling you down or dragging you down. And while it is not your energy, it is, leaving, it's dripping off, it's wanting to be rid from your person. The way that it affects people could depend or vary rather from person to person, depending on how you're able to kind of wash it off, so to speak, and navigate it, so to speak. So that was the first one that came through. I'm trusting that I kind of covered everything that I needed to for that. For either another specific person or collective, there was some impression that I got about this green like shield. It was like a green shield over the right kind of top quadrant of the head, and it was like maybe a foot out of the field, out from your body, and the green resembles heart chakra energy. And so I also saw some golden rays coming off of the green there. And so what that represents to me is that I feel like for some people this is a message of encouragement. Like you have been intending on doing something specific or meeting someone specific. Like there's some energy that is calling your heart, or that calls to your heart, that you've been connecting with and feeling. And though this energy is in your field, it's not quite in your body, but it is surrounding you. So this is a message for me that the things that you are calling in your heart are on their way towards you. Whether it's someone that you love, you might have like someone who you loved and lost recently, whether it was just a separation or a death, but they're there and they want you to know that they love you and they're connected with you. I don't know who needs to hear that. But this is going to be different for different people. But it is the energy of love and connection that is bridging the physical gap between you and what or who you love. So you might feel longing or yearning, or you might feel like joyfully fulfilled with the energy of what it is that you love or who it is that you love. And so you just need to know, I need to tell whoever this is for that you are connected, you are heard, and the love is felt. Even if you're not able to communicate with the person or the thing that you're trying to reach, or even if they're somehow separated from you, or this whatever it is, even if it's a dream or a vision, if it's like separate from your life, if it doesn't seem like it's in your life, there's still a connection, and you still need to know that the connection is there and it's real and it's felt between you and the thing, or the person. And there's also a quote that says, it's like something along the lines of, what you seek also seeks you. So I needed to tell somebody that. The next thing that I saw was a lavender spiral coming out of the crown. It's like a narrow funnel at the bottom, and then it gets bigger and bigger. And on the funnel, there's a separate funnel of like red energy. So I feel like, for someone listening, this is very, very specific, but you are extremely focused. You are extremely focused on what it is that you're trying to create. And you could also be a channel. You could be a psychic. You could be channeling messages, or channeling a new way to live, or channeling whatever it is that you're channeling, wisdom, information. And then there's this like red spiral is coming off of the purple one, and the red is this energy of high, intense vibration. It's like there's qualities of like intensity and heat, and maybe some unpleasantness or some fear. And that red spiral feels a bit like a succubus. It feels a bit like it's there to almost protect you from fear or from things. It's like this. It's like when you're in your zone, when you're channeling, when your creativity is coming towards you, when the insights are flowing, which is symbolized by that purple funnel, and it's like directly screwed into like divine information, like the spirits or the ideas or like whatever it is that you're channeling, it's directly plugged into that. So you have basically what this symbolizes is a strong connection to your version of source, whether it's God or spirits or your ancestors or your dreams or like whatever that is for you. You are strongly connected. You are really sharply attuned to that. Although at the top of the spiral, it does feel a little bit open, like there's space between the spiral and your main focus and everything around it. So because of that gap, I think this like red spiral was able to come in. And the red spiral, again, it feels like a leech. So again, this is very specific. If you've been experiencing, like as you go through moving towards your dreams, your goals, as you deepen and evolve in your faith, in your spirituality, in your connection to source, in your own truth, in your sacred truth, it's as if you've noticed certain fears or certain things like infiltrating that. And like it's the devil, it's evil, it's negativity, it's not, whatever you want to call it. It could be called any of those things. But it is also an ego mechanism. And it's part of nature, you know what I mean? Because duality is made of light and dark and whatever. So I don't want to say it's a bad thing, because it's just energy. It depends on how you interpret it. But I think that what you could do is you could visualize a valve between that red funnel and the purple funnel. You could visualize reinforcement around the purple funnel, around your cord that connects you to the wisdom of whatever source that you connect with. So just visualize strengthening white or golden light around that tunnel, so that your connection to God, to your faith, to source, to your focus, to your heart, to your soul is like perfectly intact. And, you know, nothing can distract you, it's gone, I feel already. It's kind of, maybe for someone watching this, as I spoke those words, you could have felt a sense of like relief or validation or like relaxation. And this is all just, it's all information. And basically what I'm doing, how this works, I mean, I don't even understand myself really how to fully explain it, but I've been basically connected with my psychic abilities since I was a child, and I have been an artist since I was a child. And so I use my kind of psychic skills and maps to combine the like artistic aspect, the expression aspect, and colors and forms and my visual inclinations with my kind of energy readings. And I've done a couple of like shamanic sessions and work like this, and I feel like it's all a blend of all of these things. And it's very honestly, it's kind of foreign for me, and I feel a part of me feels self-conscious. But that part of me, and this is another message for you, and I feel like this is where the sun comes in. There's a sun behind you. So it's like there's this big energy of the sun behind you. The sun represents confidence, peace, joy, childlike innocence, curiosity, warmth, expansion, and protection. And so one thing that I'm sure, most people watching this already understand, and that maybe some people need to hear, is that anytime we grow or we change or we go out of our comfort zone, our ego is always going to just flare up and create these like mechanisms to block us or to try to hold us back from the unknown. Because basically, what you are doing right now and what I'm doing right now, we're in the same kind of field. What is happening right now is that this collective that I'm talking to, the people or the person that I'm talking to, is actively stepping very bravely into a new expression of themselves. It's unfamiliar. You've never shared this with anyone before. You've never expressed yourself the way that you're expressing yourself now. Either you're already doing it or you feel this longing or pain, or like a combination of those things, insecurity, whatever. You feel this energy that's maybe eating away at you a little bit, or kind of threatening or tempting to shroud you in the self-conscious kind of energy. But you're like right on the cusp of stepping into this greater expression of your soul and actually allowing what is coming through you and what is inside of you to be opened and shared and expressed. So I just want to be, encouraging for those who are ready to take the leap, and even those who are not ready. The fears, even if you see them manifested on the outside, even if your outside world is crumbling, even if you're afraid of, losing friends or, people are going to judge you or whatever, it's like the energy is there. And I'm just offering a reflection, acknowledgement of what's there. And I understand that, different people are ready at different times. Some never choose to be ready, to step out and just experiment and express their souls. Like, we need to learn to be unattached to the things that we're afraid of, and kind of take our processes, take these things a little less seriously, and, give ourselves permission to look like a fool or to make no sense or to freak people out. And, I'm certain that I am freaking people out. But I am just blocking myself from any projections from those people, because what is missing in the spaces where you step out and you shine in a brand new way that's unfamiliar or uncommon or unusual, when you do that in a world where there is no external context to hold you in that, you are seen as a freak. You're seen as, crazy. You're seen as not making any sense. And although it can feel excruciating, sometimes I feel like that's what's necessary to do in my life, at least. And for you who this is meant for, you probably feel the same way. There are parts of your own human, your soul, yourself, that have never been contained or acknowledged or validated from the outside world in the exact unique way that your soul is meant to be seen. Like, sometimes we need to create a revolution in the world by being the first to say something that needs to be said, by being the first to do what our souls are called to do or called to express. And it is a freaky experience. It's scary. It takes courage. It takes bravery because it's brand new. It's something you've never seen before. You don't know. You're nervous about how people are going to react. You're nervous about what people are going to see. But it is all grounded in the wisdom of your soul, because you are not given the impulses, the visions, the inspiration, the feelings, the emotions. You're not given that information in vain. And especially if you've lived your life receiving the same input or the same patterns over and over, and they find different ways to kind of like attack you or get at you or bother you, and you push them away and you distract yourself, but it's always this silent, still little voice at the center of your being, nagging you, surrounding you. It's like, it's a sign that there's energy either that's, coming too close and trying to distract you, or energy that you've somehow ingested, or that's, whether it's energy you've taken on that's really not meant to be yours, that you have to push away and actually open up the vision I get is like opening up the cage of your chest and letting the light of your heart and soul shine. Like, sometimes what it takes in order to release or truly protect yourself from bullying or hatred or judgment or whatever is to shine even brighter, be even more of a freak, be weirder, like be more of yourself, because it won't make sense to people. It will be something that they've never seen before. They don't understand, so they don't even know how to react to it. It's like the caliber at which you are meant to operate from and share your gifts into this world from is so unique that people won't even know how to respond to it. And because of that, you're going to get people who are going to talk, whatever, they're going to do what they're going to do, but they genuinely have no power on you, and they can't even say anything about you. There's going to be those people. There's always going to be those people. As long as the scales of light and dark are, out of balance or whatever, that's always going to happen. So do not let the fear of that stop you from growing, because that's not the end game. It's not an ultimatum. It's a trick. Fear is not, it's not fear of being seen and being judged. It's not real. I mean, it's real. It's a valid experience, but it's like you have a choice to feed into that continually or to honor the voice of your soul. And I will say something. It's a heavy and unique calling that not a lot of people on earth are brave enough to pay heed to, because historically, I just think of Galileo, for example. He validated, what was in the sky and stars and space and cosmology, whatever. And he was killed because the majority of people around him thought he was crazy. They wrote him off because his findings were so out of the scope of reality of most people around him. The paradigms of other people were too narrow to welcome in what he had to say. So what I'm saying is for those who this is meant to be for, it's like you are on the cusp of entering a new expression of your soul that, yes, a lot of people won't have the paradigm to be able to understand it. And not many people will have the maturity to respect it and just let it be what it is instead of having to fight it. It's like sometimes when people see things that they're unfamiliar with or that make them uncomfortable, they think they need to take it and grab it and squeeze it, put it into a box. They think they need to make sense of it. But sometimes, life is mysterious, the world is mysterious, and people aren't comfortable allowing the mystery to be. They aren't comfortable just being in the mystery and not knowing. And you are comfortable with not knowing. You are comfortable with looking like a freak. You're comfortable and confident in your connection to the divine, to source, to your own channel, that you allow yourself to be seen. You allow yourself to be a channel, because it's not about you or your ego or what people think of you. It's about your connection. It's about what you see and what colors life and the universe for you. It's about what makes things make sense for you on a cosmic or a vast scale. It's not about, it's not about holding so strongly to some identity or whatever. And although identity is important and powerful, it's like we live in an age of cultural diaspora where connections to our ancestors have been, I shouldn't say they've been severed, but they've been attacked. They've been targeted. And so it's driven for so many people, like our relationships with our ancestral traditions, for example, have been severed and, targeted. And it doesn't mean that we're not still connected to our ancestors. We always are. We're always connected to God. That connection is always there. But the thing is that the raw energy, the raw spiritual energy that your unique lineage or lineages has expressed and channeled throughout the ages, throughout your lifetime, throughout your family lineage or history, that energy is still, it's always flowing through you. It is the energy, the impulse of God and life. It's the omnipotence of perpetual life and the wisdom of that. And you are special. We are all special. But you watching this, who needs to hear this, whoever needs to hear this, you are special because your psychology, your neural pathways, your upbringing, everything that's shaped who you are is so unique and allows that spiritual energy to be translated through unique gifts, unique stories, unique abilities. I have heard of a couple of other people doing, body art portraits. This is so funny because it's so not artistically technical at all. And I'm a very technical artist. I have my work and my website linked in my description so you can actually see some of like the art that I do. But I was saying I've seen a couple examples of people doing the intuitive body art portraits, but and I've seen examples of people, for example, channeling on YouTube, and not everyone shows their face. And some people talk about these things, with cards or on screen or off screen or whatever. But it's like, my point of this is that you are unique. The way that you channel your gifts and your wisdom is unique. And, it's perfectly valid that it's intimidated and scary and whatever. But I really, really believe that it is just, you are elevating so much. You are about to just obliterate the fear and the setbacks. You are, by trusting your intuition and your faith and the calling of your soul, you are actively releasing the grips that these fears and these things are holding over you. So if this is for you, you'll know it. And I just want to see, I'm going to put my phone back here so I can tune in. I want to see what else is showing up here. I'm seeing a square. So I feel like this is interesting. So this symbol just came through. I see a square kind of behind you, behind your right side. And I am imagining that this square is an entryway, like a portal that your past self came through. And there are almost like, it's like parts of your energy are like flooding back into this past square. And it's like the square represents, past versions of yourself, past beliefs, past ideas about yourself that are limited to a specific perspective. And limitations are not a bad thing per se, because we need limitations. But it's like right now you are literally taking a leap between containers. It's like you used to live in this paradigm. This was behind you. There are parts of your energy that are being sucked back into this paradigm because your soul is longing for containment. Your soul is longing for a place to make sense. But what's happening is you're taking a leap of faith into a brand new way of expressing your unique gifts. And so as you actively do that and show up and create the thing that you are called in your soul to create, you will discover new pieces, raw material that you can use to build another container for yourself. Another container for yourself. It's like you are right in front. Imagine you're standing outside of a door and you're about to step inside the door, but you are right outside the door, and that's where you are in your life right now. It's like you're right outside the door and you're about to step through the door, and it's going to provide you a sense of security, a sense of things making sense. But what you need to do is continue honoring where your soul calls you. Continue honoring where your soul calls you. And for some people, you might feel like, you're falling apart, or different parts of your soul or your mind are kind of spread out or scattered or whatever. And not everyone will understand this. This message is not for everyone. But for those who it is for, you will absolutely resonate and understand this. So, it's natural that you feel afraid. It's understandable. But stay committed to your soul. Honor the instructions you receive from God, especially if you lead your life through intuition and things like this. So you are kind of still in the middle of this leap of faith. Some of you might be further ahead. You might already be seeing results in your kind of new recent changes. You might be seeing those things manifesting outside of you. For others of you, you might feel still like you've yet to leap. You've yet to make the change. You've yet to do the new thing. And for some of you, this is another message that's coming through, but it's like you are preparing, or you need to be ready to let go of approval from the outside whatsoever. But just trust yourself, trust your gifts, trust the things that you learned, and even write down affirmations for yourself that affirm the brilliance and the validity and the power of your gifts and what it is that you're here doing, bringing together. And it doesn't have to make sense right away. You're allowed to experiment and fail and look like a fool. The best way to get anywhere, to make any success, is instead of not doing anything and just sitting in one place, it is to try and to fail over and over and over. So don't be afraid to, look like a failure. Those who don't understand you, who aren't willing to understand you, it has no bearing on you, and they are closed-minded, whether or not you know it or not, like whether or not you see it or whatever. But it's like you shining and being yourself and allowing yourself to experiment and just take life, not so seriously and look like a fool. Your willingness to do that only reveals what people already have inside of them. And so it will draw in your soul tribe like rapidly. And it will also reveal people who are judgmental, and, be prepared to, realize that maybe this person that you knew or that you met isn't who you thought they were. And it has nothing to do with you, but it's just, this is who they were. And when they were faced with your reflection, it's like that revealed who they were, or their capacity to understand you. And, if they can respect what you're doing, even if they think whatever about it, but if they can respect it and honor you, whatever, it's like, that's great. That's really all we can ask for. And not everyone has to understand what you're doing. Not everyone has to understand what you're doing. So let me see what else I see. Yeah, okay, so around this new container that you're stepping into, as you go into your gifts and everything, I'm seeing these blue triangles almost sticking out like spikes around. So blue is a color that represents truth, clarity, vision, insight, wisdom. So I feel like your new reality that you're entering right now is naturally protected by truth. So it's like, the more that you are your authentic self, the more that you shine in the light of your truth and you allow your truth to be, seen. It's like even the shape of the guy, I did it in a blue color. It's kind of a lighter blue color, like a duller one, especially the pen was running out of ink. But this is a very dark, deep, true kind of blue color. So it's like the more that you, honor that truth and, live in it and imbibe it in your life, the more it will naturally speak for itself and protect you. So it's like you we'll get to a point where you feel like you don't have to worry about a thing, and you're protected by the innate wisdom of your soul and your truth, and you know, you're like protected by the truth. The truth speaks for itself. The truth defends itself. You do not need to put up an ego barrier. You can keep your heart open. You can be receptive to the beauty and bounty of life, and you can feel relaxed and at ease, because your truth will speak for itself. Whether you see that manifesting now or in the future, whether it's a feeling or in the form of like relationships or community who you find who will stick up for you and believe in you and value you. It's like the energy of truth and the protectiveness of truth. It's like a barrier. You know, no falsehoods can penetrate the truth, and you're surrounding yourself with the truth, the expression of the truth of your soul. So that feels like a good place to end the reading. If you want to work with me personally, please check out the description box. I offer intuitive readings, tarot readings, body art scan readings. If this resonated with you, I would love to work with you and offer my support and love. And until next time, bye everyone.